Welcome to Life in My Shoes. This week is a shoe review. I gave a hint to this last video, but I am reviewing the Altra Commute Sneaker. So I received this about 4 days ago or so, and I have been wearing it since then with the exception of today. So let's talk a little bit about this sneaker. First off, this sneaker slash boot goes for about 130-ish on the Altra site, and similarly priced on Amazon. I'll talk more later in the video about my perception of that price, but that's just what the going rate is. I got them for about $45 brand new. So as I mentioned in the past, I am a bit of a bargain shopper, and if you will look in alternative venues, you can occasionally find things. You just got to be patient. So I just had to wait on this. I found this on eBay brand new, and so I was able to make that purchase. I think it's was a good purchase for the price. I normally wear an 11 in traditional shoes. Altra is notorious for their sizing. With the Smith boot for Altra went all the way up to a 12. It was fine. I probably could have gone back to an 11.5 with my desert boots. I went with an 11, and I probably could have gone to 11.5. So it feels like it might be true to size. So, as with all Altra, this is a running shoe brand. They have a couple standards. One is the zero drop platform. So your heel and your toe are the same distance off of the ground. So whatever the stack height is, it's consistent. Also is the foot-shaped toe box. So the intention is with the running shoe was that when you're running, it gave your toes some room to splay out and spread out, and you kind of could grip some. So they remain consistent with those two values, those two standards across all their shoes. This boot is has the same footbed of the Smith, which is, I believe, a rubber sole. It's not a super aggressive sole, so you don't see some aggressive lugs on it or aggressive tread, but it is slightly gummy. So I think in wet weather, it will provide some decent traction, but it's not super aggressive. So like to go hiking or something like that, you're not going to have a real aggressive, grippy tread that will get you over the varied terrain. It has leather accents, so you can see kind of the leather accents on it over a wool upper. So it is a softer than the Smith, which was all leather. It's not as soft as the Desert Boot, which was suede. It did not require any break-in, and it is pretty warm and comfortable. Has a padded tongue, which is different from the Smith, which adds a little more to more of a snug fit, and to the warmth. Quality-wise, I would say they're a high-quality boot. I haven't seen any kind of issues with the upper, the sole, like with my Smith. I wear my Smith boot quite often, 3 to 5 days a week, and I'm seeing little to no wear on the sole. So I anticipate the same here. My only concern would be with the upper, and I'm not seeing anything after 4 days. So that's a good sign of the quality. I will say the wool, though, has a tendency just to like pick up debris. It will just it's almost like it's a magnet for just grass and just fuzz and everything like that. One of the reviews I read said that the wool has a tendency to start pilling up. So that's one thing to watch for over time. But overall, I think they're a good build quality. Comfort-wise, I would say, again, I already mentioned that the upper is a little softer. The padded tongue helps it be a little more of a snug fit. It is a comfortable shoe. It's very consistent with the Smith boot. It's not as comfortable as the Desert boot. Again, these two, the Smith and the Commute Sneaker, have a different type of sole. The other casual shoes they've built are coming on a tennis shoe footbed. This is not a tennis shoe footbed, but it provides greater comfort than a lot of your everyday wear for the business world. The name Commute Sneaker, which I would really question it being called a sneaker. I would call it a boot personally. It has the same profile as the Desert boot and the Smith boot. It's a low profile, almost an ankle boot. They call it a sneaker. I would call it a boot. But it is by name. It's called the Commute Sneaker. Is, in my assumption, is intended to be a knock around town kind of shoe. So something where you're walking to the bus stops and you're just spending the weekend out. It can be worn with jeans, which I've worn it with. Can be worn with khakis. I've done that as well. Colored jeans, etc. I think it will be a little limited in its ability to be dressed up too much. The Smith boot does a little bit better with being dressed up. This will be much more of a casual, but can definitely get you by a business casual environment as an everyday shoe. And this is the only color state it comes in, so it's this gray, black. So pretty much you can match it with anything with a black belt. I've done some of the comparison already. The Desert boot comes on I believe the Torin footbed. And so it's a different level of comfort coming on a tennis shoe footbed. The Takala is more of a casual, much more on the casual side. It came on the 2.5 footbed and is very comfortable. This sole that is on this is the same that's on the Smith. It is not a tennis shoe footbed. It's not intended to be the same as a tennis shoe footbed. It's got a good level of comfort, but you'd be in a world of hurt if you took the insole out of this, because you can see there's a cork layer that is going to be a little more stiff than what a traditional Altra fan would be used to. This is a different kind of ride to their running shoes. You can't expect a dress shoe or a casual shoe to have the same kind of ride as a tennis shoe, and it does not. So I mentioned at the onset the price of about $130 to $140 brand new, depending on where you got it. And I also mentioned that I got mine at about $45, which I thought was a reasonable deal. I think when I reviewed the Smith boot, I said that it was a boot. It runs in the same price range as this. I think I said it was probably a boot that was worth about a $75 to $85 range based on the quality. It still is a little bit tennis shoe-ish. It can't be super dressed up, but it's a little dressier than this. So based on the materials, I would say this one is probably, in my opinion, would be a $55 to $65 boot is a reasonable price for it. So if you could get it in that range, I think you're paying what the quality dictates. Would I give it a thumbs up? Yeah, I give it a thumbs up. I would definitely say do not buy this at full price. I would say try to find a sale on it. Altra will hopefully run sales on them eventually. Altra has a tendency to discontinue certain lines of shoes because, I mean, that's traditional with running shoes, that a new version comes out, you retire the old version. And in some cases, they've completely reinvented the shoe. They've got some brand new models. Sometimes the new models will come out and they'll get rid of them, like the Takala, because I wanted to get a second pair of the Takalas in the second color, and I can't find them now because they've discontinued that line. So all in all, it's a good shoe. I would give it a thumbs up. I would say don't buy full price. If you find a reasonable price, anywhere from about $65 and down, which would be probably about 50% off or more of the market value, then I would say go with it. So what do you think? I am a shoe guy, so I have lots of shoes. What are your thoughts on these or any of the Altra line? Have you tried them? Do you have any questions? Let me know in the comments below, and we'll talk more in the future as I get new shoes. I'll do more reviews of shoes. So until that time, have a good time.